Hello student, myself Professor Ushali Thapde from ICEEM Engineering College. Now, today we will see the another type of data structure that is nothing but a queue. Till now, we have seen the different types of data structure. Out of that, in last lecture we have seen what is a stack and how to implement the different applications of the stack. Till now we covered the different types of data structure. Now in today's lecture we will see the another type of data structure that is nothing but a queue. Now in this lecture we will cover what is a queue. We will see the basic definition of queue, then on which principle queue is working, then we will cover what are the different techniques in or we can say the representation methods of a queue. Then we will see what are the different elements that are used for implementation of the queue, which are the different operations that can be implemented on a queue. Then different conditions that occurred while inserting and deleting element from the queue, that is a queue overflow and queue underflow conditions. Then we will cover what are the different types of queue. And lastly, after getting the basic idea of a queue, we will compare the queue and stack. That means we will see what is the basic difference between the stack and queue. Okay, so let's start. Now, what is a queue? Queue is a data structure, or we can say queue is a linear data structure. Now again take a 1 minute and revise that. What is a linear data structure? Linear data structure is a data structure in which elements are elements form the sequence. That means one after another. The elements are placed in the data structure one after another. Such a type of data structures are called linear data structure. So queue is a linear data structure which allows a programmer to insert an element at one end, that is called as a rear, whereas to delete the element from another end, that is known as a front. So what is a queue? Queue is again a data structure in which we can save our element, from which we can delete our element. But while implementation of the queue, whenever we want to insert the element inside the queue, we have to use the end point, that is called as a rear. Always remember, whenever you want to insert the element inside the queue, you have to insert it through the rear end. And whenever you want to delete any element from the queue, at that time you need to delete that element from another end, that is called as a front end. Okay. So queue is an abstract data type because it not only allow the storage of the element but also allows to perform certain operation on these elements. Okay, what is the abstract data type? Which allows you to see the basic operations which we can perform on that queue. So queue allows you to store the element as well as it allows you to perform different operation on that element. Okay. So I think now the idea of queue is clear. What is a queue? It is nothing but a data structure which allows you to store the element inside that queue as well as delete the element from the queue. So whenever you want to insert element inside the queue, you have to insert it through the rear end, and whenever you want to delete, you have to delete it through the front end. Now queue is nothing but an ordered collection of homogeneous element. Now what do you mean by the homogeneous element? That means same kind of elements. If you want to insert the element of integer types, then that queue holds all elements of the integers type. Okay, so it is nothing but an ordered collection of the homogeneous element. It is a non-primitive linear data structure. What do you mean by non-primitive linear data structure? There are two types of data structure. One is a primitive, another one is a non-primitive. Non-primitive data structure which is derived from the primitive data types, that is called as a non-primitive. And again queue is a non-primitive linear data structure. Okay. Now if a new element is added at the one end, that is called as a rear, as I said, an existing element which are already added inside your queue, that existing element can be deleted from the queue through the another end, that is called as the front end. That means what is the mechanism or on which principle your queue is working, that is called as the first in first out. Whoever come first, that will be deleted first from the queue. Now recall, what is the principle of stack? principle of stack is nothing but a LIFO, last in first out. Whoever come last, that goes out first inside your stack, right? But what is the principle of your queue? Principle of your queue is nothing but a first in first out. First in first out. Whoever come first, that will be goes out first. That is the principle of your queue. So you can take one example for the queue. People standing in a queue for the movie tickets. If you want to purchase the ticket for the movie, you are forming the queue, okay, at the ticket window, okay. So whoever come first, that will get the first ticket of movie, right? So first in first out. So this is the basic principle of your queue. Now, what are the different ways through which you can implement your queue or representation of the queue? You can represent your queue, or you can say you can implement your queue with the help of array. You can implement the queue with the help of linked list. So there are two ways through which you can implement the queue, with by using the array or by using the linked list. So there are two ways for representation of the queue, using array and using the linked list. Now, what are the different operations which we can perform on the queue? Till now we understood queue is nothing but a storage purpose, or we can say a data structure in which we can store the elements from one end, say rear, and delete the element from another end, that is called as the front end. Now, what are the different operations which can perform on the queue? These are the operations. The first one is that initialize. That means you can create a queue. Again, creation of the queue, it will be depend on through which you can through which you want to create the queue, either with the help of array or with the help of linked list. Based on that, you can initialize your queue. The second operation which you can perform on the queue is nothing but an insert. That means whenever you want to store the elements on a queue, you can use this operation for storing the elements on a queue. Next operation is nothing but a delete. Okay, so whenever you want to delete elements from the queue, you can use the operation that is nothing but a delete. Next operation is empty. You have to check whether your queue is empty or whether it is a full. So there are two operations, is empty and is full. To check whether any elements are present or not on the queue, you can use the make use of these two operations, is empty and is full. Next is the display operation. Once you have inserted the elements on a queue, you can display that element with the help of operation that is called as a display. Now, these are the operations which we can perform on the queue. But now I want to implement the queue. Then which are the elements I required to implement my queue? So, if I am implementing my queue with the help of array, then I require the array, right? And another elements we required, that is nothing but a front and rear variable. That is, we required these two ends for inserting and deleting purpose. So what are the elements we required for forming the queue? That is a front element, rear element and array. If we are implementing our queue with the help of array, then array. If you are implementing your element with the queue with the help of linked list, then instead of array you can use the linked list. Okay. Now, how our queue look like? What is the model of queue? Now, here we are implementing our queue with the help of array. Now, here I have the queue of size 5. I can store 5 elements inside my queue, out of which I have already inserted 3 elements, 10, 20, 30. Okay, if I want to insert new element, that is a 40, then I can insert it with the help of rear end. My rear end is get incremented and I can insert the new element at this position, right? 40. So my queue size is here 5. Queue can hold the 5 elements, out of which I have already inserted 3 elements, 10, 20, 30. And if I want to insert new element, I can insert it, because my queue is not full, so it allowed me to insert the new element with the help of rear end. And if I want to delete the element from the queue, then which element is deleted first? That come first. Now the 10 element come first, so this is get deleted first, because front is pointing to this element, and wherever your front is pointing, that element is get deleted first. First in, first out. So again look at the here, what is the rear and what is the front. Rear is nothing but a pointer, or we can say element are inserted in a queue through this end one by one. Whenever you want to insert, you can insert through this end, whereas front is a pointer where through which you can delete the element from the queue one by one. Okay, we can see now this front end, rear end, and one by one what are the different elements. All of you know about the array. We have already covered that type of data structure, that is nothing but an array. So array idea of array is clear to everyone. Now the remaining elements of your queue is nothing but a front and rear, which we will see one by one. Now what is the front? This is the end. This end is used for deleting the element from the queue. Whenever you want to delete the elements from the queue, you can make use of the end, that is called as a front. Now where initially this front end is initialized, front variable is initialized with the -1. That means it is pointing to never. In your array, if your front is pointing to no location, at that time you can initialize it with the -1. So front is always initialized with the -1. If you are initialize it with 0, it's okay if your array started with a 1. But now here, as shown in my array, I have started my array with the 0th position. That's why I have initialized my front end with a -1. Okay. So front end is incremented by 1 when new element has to be deleted from queue. As one by one you are deleting the element from the queue, your front end is get incremented to point out the new element which is get deleted from your queue. Okay. So now the next element of our queue is nothing but a rear. This end is used for inserting an element inside the queue. Whenever we want to insert the element inside the queue, we can make use of the rear pointer through which we can insert. Now where this initially the rear end is initialized, rear end again is initialized to -1. If your rear is equals to -1, that means there are no elements present on your queue, obviously, because we are inserting elements from the rear end, and if my queue is holding no elements, at that time my rear is automatically at the -1 position, right? Again, I want to clear one thing here. Here my array started with the 0th location. That's why I am initializing my rear is equals to -1. But if you want to start your array with the first location, that is a of 1, in that case you can initialize your rear to 0 also. It is possible. And whenever you insert new element inside your queue, then the rear is incremented 1 by 1. Okay. Now the next thing about the queue is two conditions occurred inside your queue. That is the queue overflow and queue underflow. Queue overflow means queue is full and you try to insert element. For example, what is a queue overflow? First we will see that inserting an element in a queue which has already full, that condition is called as a queue full condition. That means my queue is full, there is no space remaining to insert the new element till I am performing the operation of insertion. I want to insert new element, but there is no space on my queue. In that case, the condition occurred, that is called as a queue overflow. Okay. When the queue is fully occupied, an insert operation is called. In that case, the queue overflow occurs. For example, look at here. Here my queue size is 4. Okay, my queue size is 4 and I have already inserted 4 elements A, B, C, D. Now I want to insert new element E, but there is no space remaining on my queue. So condition occurred is called as the queue overflow. And how to check whether queue is full or not? For checking that condition, we have to check whether rear reached to the maximum position. Rear is equals to max -1. Now here I am taking max -1 because I am initializing rear with a -1, right? So I have started my array with a 0. That's why I have checked whether rear is equals to max -1, and if this condition is true, in that case my queue is full. Always remember to check whether queue is full or not. You have to check whether rear reached to the maximum position. If it reaches to the maximum position, that means your queue is full. Okay. Clear? Now as shown here, in my queue already 4, my queue size is 4 and already 4 elements I have inserted in my queue. If I want to insert new element E inside my queue, no no space is available on queue because rear reaches to the max position. My rear reaches to the max position. So here the condition of it is a queue overflow. Now the next condition is called as the queue underflow. What is the queue empty condition? Deleting an element from the queue which is already empty. My queue holds no elements. Okay, so deleting the element from the queue which is already empty, in that case the condition occurred, that is called as the queue underflow. Okay, so when the queue is fully empty and you can say delete operation is called, in that case the condition occurred is a queue underflow. So we need to take care of that. Whenever we delete the element from the queue, first we have to check whether my queue is empty or not. I have already told you the two operations which can perform on the queue to check whether queue is full or queue is empty, that is nothing but a is empty and is full operation, and these operations help us to avoid such a conditions, underflow and overflow. Before deleting element, if we check whether our queue is empty or not, then we can avoid the condition that will occur on a queue, that is a queue underflow. Similarly, while inserting the elements on a queue, if we will check whether my queue is full or not, if we check that operation, and then we can avoid the condition, that is a queue overflow. Now again, here my queue size is 4 and front and rear both are initialized to -1. Okay, if rear is initialized to -1, that means your queue is empty. How to check my queue is empty? If rear is equals to -1, that means your queue is not holding any elements, obviously, because we are inserting the elements through the rear end. But now there are no elements present on my queue because rear is equals to -1. So always remember how to check queue is empty. If rear is equals to -1, then your queue is empty. And how to check queue is full? If rear is equals to max -1, at that time your queue is full. There is always 2 mark question. Write down the queue full and queue empty condition. So in that case, for the queue full condition, if rear is equals to max -1, your queue is full. And queue empty condition, how to check? If rear is equals to -1, in that case you can say your queue is empty. Now, what are the different types of queue? Types of queue, the first one is the linear queue. The second type of queue is nothing but a circular queue. Third one is a double-ended queue. And last one is the priority queue. These are the 4 types of queue. I hope till now the basic idea of queue is clear to everyone. So now we will see what is the difference between the stack and queue. We have already covered the stack data structure. Now after knowing about the basic idea about the queue, we will compare these both data structure, that is a stack and queue. What is a stack? Stack is a data structure in which we can insert the element from only one end, that is called as the top of the stack. Deletion and insertion on the stack takes place from only one end, that is called as the top of the stack. Whereas on a queue, insertion takes place from the rear end, whereas the deletion takes place from the front end. This is the basic difference between the stack and queue. Whenever you want to insert delete element from the stack, there is only one end, that is a top. But in queue you have 2 ends, one for insertion, one for the deletion, right? Now the next difference is on the principle. Stack is working on the principle LIFO, last in first out. This is the principle of a stack data structure, whereas the principle of queue on which it is working, that is called as the FIFO, first in first out. Next difference, that is stack has only one pointer through which different operations can be performed, whereas queue has a 2 pointer variable through which different operations can be performed. On the stack, there is no memory wastage as compared to the queue, but in queue, your memory can be wasted in the type of linear queue. Okay, where the memory is wasted? In a type of linear queue. Okay, there are different types of queue, out of which in linear queue there is a memory wastage. Now next difference is about the operations. Which operations we can perform on the stack, that is a push, pop, whereas on queue we can perform the operation that is NQ, that means insertion and deletion. Okay. Next difference, in computer system it is used in a procedure calls. Where the stack is used, you can write down here the different applications of your stack. That is computer system you can use for the procedure call, the stack is used, whereas for the time and resource sharing your queue is used. This is one of the application of your queue. And then you can write down the examples of stack and queue. One of the example of stack, plate counter at a marriage reception. Once plate that are kept one after another, that are nothing but an example of your stack. Whereas example of queue, students standing in a line at a fee counter. Okay. Student forming the queue at a fee counter, that is nothing but an example of queue. Whereas a plate counter at marriage reception is nothing but an example of stack. I hope the difference is understood to you. You can write down the definition while writing the difference between stack and queue. First specify the definition, then write down the principles, then you can write down the different operations which you can perform on the stack and queue, then write down the application. Based on the application you can compare the stack and queue, and then example. Again there is always a 2-mark question on this topic, what is the difference between stack and queue. So I hope in this lecture you have get the idea about the queue, what is the queue data structure, what are the different operations we can perform on the queue data structure, on which principle queue is working, what are the different representation methods for the queue, what are the types of queue, what is the conditions which can occur on the queue, that is a queue underflow and queue overflow, and at the end we will discuss about the difference between the stack and queue. So in the next lecture we will start with the first type of queue, that is a linear queue. I hope this all things are clear to you. Thank you.